Hello everybody and welcome to the 2015-2016 school year. This year we're going to be using the Flipped Classroom and Mastery Learning in our Regents Chemistry class. A flipped classroom and a traditional classroom are different. The flipped classroom has you watching the instructional lesson at home, either through a video that I will make, a podcast that you will listen to, a book, or a website. Students work in class to understand the concepts more deeply. They get to work with me one-on-one, and they receive support as needed. It's a little bit different than what you might be used to in a traditional classroom where the teacher stands in front of the room and instructs, and you take notes, and then you follow some sort of guided instruction. In the flipped classroom, you are going to take an active role in your chemistry education. With the flipped classroom, we are also going to be incorporating something called Mastery Learning. Mastery Learning might sound scary at first, but actually it puts a lot of power in the students' hands. The students will learn at different paces. Some of you will learn a concept faster than others, and some will be slower than others. What happens when this kind of situation presents itself in a classroom is the students that pick up the concept faster get bored very easily, and the students that are struggling get frustrated because they feel that they haven't gotten to the same place as the students that are picking it up very quickly. So right now, with a flipped classroom, you can learn at your own pace. Pace? That's what happens when you're making videos. Okay, so just be ready, because I'm human and my videos will sound ridiculous at times. But here we go. Given appropriate time and conditions, I believe that all of you guys can do extremely well in this Regents Chemistry class. You just have to put in the effort. It's a non-competitive learning environment, meaning you're not competing with the person sitting next to you. That person will do their own thing and you worry about you. You're going to take full responsibility for everything that you do in this classroom. When you come into the class, at the beginning of the period, I will be giving a small mini lesson in the front of the room. If you are struggling with the video lessons at night during homework time, come in with, and there's the phone, so I'll be right back. Okay, this is about the 18th time I've tried to record this, so I don't remember where I was when the phone rang, but here we go. At the beginning of the lesson, at the beginning of the period, I'm going to give a small mini lesson in the front of the room. If you had trouble from the night before, or if you don't understand what was being presented in the video, then I suggest that you come to the front of the classroom and ask me questions. Let me explain the concept to you in quick 10 to 12 minutes. After that mini lesson is over, I'm going to send you on your way, and you're going to go and work on some of the learning opportunities that are going to be presented to you in your menu for the particular unit that we're working on. In class today, I'm going to give you a menu for the Introduction to Chemistry. Introduction to Chemistry will have the safety information that you do every year when you start a new science class. It will also have an article that you're going to read, and it might also have boy, I'm popular today. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, that time you can blame Miss Carter, who had to tell me something. So those of you who have Miss Carter for math, go tell her she interrupted my video. Alright, so like I was saying, you will have some learning opportunities, and the first thing that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to give you the paper in a few minutes, says the Google Classroom and Interactive Notebooks mini lesson, which is basically what we're doing now. And then you're going to have an article on why do I have to study chemistry. There's going to be a Google Classroom welcome back form that I need you to complete. And there's also personalizing your interactive student notebook, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. So during the middle of the period, for the middle 20 to 25 minutes, you're going to be working on one of those learning opportunities. And if you are done with those learning opportunities, then in the end of the period, the last 10 minutes or so, I will distribute quizzes for those of you who are ready to move on to the next subunit. You'll also see around the classroom that I'll have folders which will have the the unit number, like this would be the next unit, the first unit we would do would be 1, and then it would be 1.1 for the first subunit of that particular unit. I will go over that in class as we move through this procedure. Okay, like I said, in a flipped classroom, you might find out that you finished the unit before anyone else. And if you do that, you can help other students complete their learning goals by directing them. Do not do their work for them, but you want to help them. It will get harder and harder as the school year progresses and chemistry gets a little bit more challenging. So the first unit or two, don't get so... what's the word I'm looking for? So don't say that, oh, this is so easy and it's just going to be like this for the rest of the year, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Okay? You can also ask for extra credit and enrichment material. In order to get that, I need to see your completed subunit and your mastery on your quiz, or you may work quietly on some study material. You may not sit around doing nothing. These 20 to 25 minutes in the middle of the class period, you have to be actively engaged, doing something, some sort of studying, asking me questions. If you need any enrichment material, I'll be more than happy to help you find that. You cannot bother other students. Don't poke them or make faces at them. Do not interfere with the learning of other students. You get the idea. You're 11th graders. You guys can figure it out. The reason that Mrs. Goldberg and I are flipping the classroom this year is because we feel that this will give you a little bit more power. It's going to keep you focused on the lessons. You're able to work at your own pace. Some of you can work faster. Some of you can work more slowly. It also allows me to have one-on-one instruction with you. So if you need my undivided attention, I will have more time to give it to you instead of standing in the front of the room and losing those people in the back who just want to take a nap. So what I'll do is I'll be walking around, and if you have any questions on how to complete something, that's the time you should be asking me. Oh, and one more thing. If you need help with something, you can also go and revisit these lovely videos that I'm making. So exciting. I know you can't even contain yourself. Okay, we have on this slide just the overall plan. Each unit is broken into subunits, and when I say subunits, it's what I was explaining before. For instance, unit number 1 will be broken down into 5 subunits. It will be 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, and 1.5. In order to move from 1.1 to 1.2, you have to complete a quiz, and those quizzes can be taken at any day, and they will be taken during the last 10 minutes of the period, like I said before. Oh, excuse me. The video lesson will be made by me. Sometimes it's going to be made by some other teacher, and those will be assigned for you to watch at home so that you're not listening to me during the class. I'm trying to keep the videos, this one's going to be a little bit longer, but trying to keep the videos between 10 and 12 minutes. During the video, you will be instructed to write things down in your interactive notebook so you have the notes. That is part of your homework. You must have those notes written in your interactive notebook. So if I go to check your interactive notebooks, then those notes need to be there. Okay? Some learning opportunities are optional and some will be mandatory. I will make it perfectly clear which ones are optional and which ones are mandatory. And all your lab activities are going to be mandatory. The lab activities have to be completed. You need 20 lab hours by the end of the school year. So we're going to do all of the lab activities. Now, it doesn't mean you have to do this lab activity on the same day as John Doe over there. John Doe might be doing the lab activity on Monday, and you may be doing the lab activity on Tuesday. It all depends on how you structure your learning opportunities. On this page, I have an example of some learning opportunities that you're going to see. Most of the time, there are going to be foldable organizers that you're going to put inside of your interactive notebook. I'm going to show you those on the next slide, some examples of those. There'll definitely be CASEL Learning sets of questions, and those CASEL Learning sets will be mandatory. You're going to have to do some of them. There will also be extra CASEL Learning sets, so if you want to do extras, they will not be graded, and we'll talk about that as we go through the year. There'll be mini lessons with me that you are going to record into your interactive notebook, and I'll sign away on that. You get my little signature. It might be worth something someday, so hold on to that. And you have worksheets that you can glue in there, and some charts and diagrams and pictures and all sorts of fun stuff. Okay, so your grades. How are you going to be graded? Your grades are going to be based on quizzes and tests, labs, and class participation. The class participation grade is solely up to me. If you're sitting there and Sally Smithers over there is doing nothing, and she comes to me at the end of the quarter and says, "How come I have a 79?" I'm going to say, "Because, Sally Smithers, you were doing nothing while sitting at the lab tables. You were painting your nails, you had your head down on the desk." Okay? Class participation is very important. Actively engaged learning is what we're all here for. Okay? You're going to keep an interactive student notebook, and I'm going to be checking them periodically. I will ask you to bring up and show me the notes for 1.2 or 1.4, and then you're going to put those notes in front of me, and I will give you a grade for them. I think that's all I have to say about that. Well, here's another slide that talks about interactive student notebooks. You're going to take your own notes. You're going to reflect on concepts. You use them to study for tests. Nothing unusual. They are going to be personalized. That's one of the first learning opportunities that you're going to do. You're going to personalize your interactive notebook, and you're going to use these. Everybody should have a notebook that's just for this class. I don't want to see English work and social studies and math in your interactive science notebook. Here are some examples of some beautiful interactive notebook pages. Right here, I'm going to try something new. Woo, that's pretty cool. I am a big fan of the smartboard. Now you can see that I don't have a smartboard in this class. I used to be in room 201, but now in room 203, there is no smartboard. So we're going to have to wing it for a couple days, but I'm a big fan of clouds, and I'm a big fan of beautiful notes. The more beautiful your notes, the more you're going to want to study from them. So we'll practice making beautiful notes. Look at those. Those are some nice notes. Okay, here we have an example of a foldable. It says classification of matter. Got elements, compounds, homo and heterogeneous mixtures, and then we have a picture of physical and chemical changes. I like the way that this goes, ooh, like that. Okay, I'm learning how to use this. Hope I'm entertaining you. By the way, I know you're all sitting there going, "Oh my God, she's crazy," but that's okay. All right, here are a couple more examples. We got another foldable right here. It's very pretty. I think I actually have this one, Bond with James. He makes some nice foldables. We've got some physical and chemical changes, acids, bases, and neutrals. We will be pasting these into our interactive notebooks. Here's a lovely one with all the groups of the periodic table. Okay, tests and quizzes. You can decide when you're ready to take a quiz, and the quiz will be given to you in the last 10 minutes or so of class. When you take that quiz, you can move on to the next subunit once you have achieved mastery on the quiz. The mastery level for each particular quiz will be set by the quiz. For instance, physical and chemical changes is a very easy unit, so the mastery level will be a 90. When we get to redox or we get to some of the harder units, mastery might be lower. Also, there's some of you who want to set your mastery level very high because you always want the A. If your mastery level is a 70 and you achieve a 70, you can't retest or requiz. If you set the mastery level at 80 and you don't achieve that 80, then you can requiz. Okay? Tests will be given at the end of the whole entire unit. So we'll all be testing on the same schedule. The test will be given on Thursday, and I will designate that Thursday as a quiet day. Okay, you're only going to be allowed to retest if you do not achieve mastery, which I'm setting as an 85 for the most part, with a little bit of wiggle room in there. We'll have to decide as we go along. Every class works a little bit differently. Sometimes the mastery needs to be 75. Sometimes the mastery needs to be 95. Okay, you can only retake a test once, and in order to retake that, you must complete a retest request form. Say that 10 times fast. retest request form. Okay, and I will show you what those look like in a little while. Okay, so we're getting to the end of this lovely video. The flipped classroom is a work in progress. It's a work in progress for you. It's a work in progress for me. It's a work in progress for the entire ComSwag community because we're just starting this process in ComSwag. A couple other teachers have done it. I'm basically jumping in with both feet. So each class is going to work out a little bit differently. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. My job is to facilitate your learning. Your job is to complete the work and ask for help if you need it. Okay? You can't learn anything if you're not doing the work. If you're falling behind, make sure that you come and see me during X time. Alright, I guess I'm going to sign out now because, well, that's all I have to say. So until next time,